What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. In today's video, I want to talk about an individual that was a bloketo in New Folsom with us. Before I break down the definition of a bloketo for those that don't know what it is, I want to make sure that that people understand one thing. The only people who are somebody behind those walls are the legends. The legends from whatever faction, right? And there are people who get bothered by the fact that I refer to people as legends. Now remember, when I use that term, I'm not talking about just one faction. I'm talking about all four, okay? And I always laugh at the people that have a problem with me saying legend rather than me identifying an individual as an active participant in organized crime. The people in the comments that say, man, I can't believe a grown man calling somebody a legend. You realize you're saying you would be happier if the person was identified as an active participant in organized crime, right? Think about that. Now, anyone other than that is basically doing the bidding, participating in the activities, right? I had responsibilities in several different prisons at different times, but I always knew we're the same motherfucker. Everybody's equal. We just have more responsibilities. Other people would become llaveros or meseros, be in a leadership position because the real leadership was slammed down in the Bay and Corcoran, sometimes Tehachapi. But before they let everybody out, there was a system. I'm not going to get all into the system, but you had the dudes that were on the mesa. The last thing, meseros, meaning a guy on the mesa, the last thing that the mesa wants to hear about is what's going on in the block. They are dealing with every detail of what's going on the yard, but they only want to deal with the most serious issues. You don't need to hear about this guy's not getting along with his cellie, because by the time that the mesa finds out that somebody's not getting along with their cellie, they're only going to hear about that when it's time to take it to a vote and decide what to do with the situation. Instead, they'll designate an individual to take care of the block, the bloque. He becomes the bloquero, right? And whatever, say he's in C section in one block, he's going to designate somebody in A and B sections to handle the little things for him and just let him know if he needs to go over there and talk to anybody, right? Once there's a situation that the bloquero feels like it's important enough, he's going to go ahead and take that to the mesa. And like I said before, then it goes to a vote, and then whatever happens has to happen, okay? This story is about a bloquero. One block, Sea Yard, New Folsom. And if he sees this video, he knows who he is. It was somebody that I took a liking to. He was a hustler. And I used to have him slinging dope for me. He should make good money. And he was always on the move. He was one of them dudes, man. He had the gift of gab. He was persistent. He could always come up with new weapon stock. Like, he was just one of those dudes that was like, you know, he was a badass kid from jump, right? He was always up to something. This became a problem for him. As the bloquero, he was one of those dudes that let it get to his head. If no disrespect, but if you're a bloquero, sometimes People that like the spotlight will be asked to be the bloquero, so that the guys that the mesa really want to keep on the yard, the guys that are really intelligent and with the business, don't have to take the spotlight. This guy kind of fit that criteria. But he let it get to his head. And there were two things that happened that led me to push to have him stripped of his status. And just, so look at, this is what happened. So, he had one block for a little while. And one block on Sea Yard in New Folsom at the time was orientation. Fish Row was there, right? And he had the ability to get out of his cell whenever he wanted to. And when new guys would come, it was his responsibility to grab their paperwork, review their paperwork, and then let us know what was going on, right? As the bloquero, it's routine to respectfully find out how people are trying to do their time. And so you'll go by, the bloquero go by, how you guys doing tonight, or how you guys doing this afternoon, how you guys doing this morning, very respectfully, right? Go to people's doors, ask them if they're good, how's everything going. By the way, just for informational purposes, if the need arises, would you be willing to help the pad out? Would you help the casa out if something needed to be done? And dudes are going to say, yeah. Dudes are going to, say what they're going to say. This guy would show up at a door. Hey, let me get your paperwork, homie. Not the pleasantries, not treating men as men. Hey, man, let me get your paperwork, Holmes. I'm in a hurry right now. And vatos were like, what? Especially vatos that knew what time it was. And then he'd be like, hey, Holmes, if I need you to whack somebody, you down or what? That got to our ears. Who the fuck is this vato? No respect. And you got to understand, on Fish Roll, dudes that really know what time it is, they get a very big impression of a yard when they hit Fish Roll. If you hit Fish Roll and they slow drag to come and stop by your pad to pick up the paperwork, your 128G, or if they're rude when they come by, if they give you a skimpy ass care package, because when you get there, they'll be like, hey, Holmes, here's a little something for you, vatos, eh? We'll get you more when we get a chance, whatever, right? But the bloquero and Fish Roll, they leave a huge impression. And when you have dudes that know what time it is and expect to see a certain thing or feel a certain vibe when they get to a yard and they don't get that, that could create problems. We're not going to get into all that, but it could definitely create problems, especially if the dude's well connected, right? So we had this dude, we find out he's being a dick. He's being disrespectful. He's not treating men as men. So we called him out, hey, Holmes, we need to talk to you real quick. And we told him, your role there is done, Holmes. Don't come out of the cell. Don't ask nobody for nothing. Do your time, homie. He was bent out of shape, but so what? We left him on the yard. You're all right, Holmes. You're all right. You have no business interacting with people. Still had him slinging dope for me. And then a bus came from Lancaster. At the time, Lancaster was a question mark. We didn't really know what it was. We know it's a 270 yard. A lot of times, dudes come from a 270. You have to kind of make sure you do your homework on them. Not to talk bad about, all the 270 yards. That's just what the mentality was. But especially, like you could have came from Calipat, well established. High Desert, the 270, well established. Salinas Valles, Salinas Valley, but Lancaster, people were like, what's going on over there? You don't hear nothing about that place no more. Remember, this was in 2003, I believe. 2004, 2003 or 4, right? But this bus comes, and there's a few Southerners on the bus. And we noticed when they hit the yard, there was more ISU on the yard. Investigative Services Unit. The Goonies, the Gooners. Some people call them IGI. They're not the IGI. Only one person is an IGI for an institution. That's the lieutenant. The rest are ISU. Now, we noticed like, these vatos got here. And the squad's on the yard more. So we did a little digging, a little investigating. And we found out that one of the dudes that came had been part of the mesa, part of the leadership in Lancaster. So we had, at the time, we're functioning one short. There was 4 dudes on the mesa. Can't have an even number. So we decided, let's ask him if he wants a seat. His vote doesn't count. We're going to limit what he knows until we get everything back, clearing him, right? So we got at him. Hey, would you like a seat here? You know, a few of you vatos came. We know these vatos trust you. They don't know us. If you take a seat, maybe they'll feel more at ease and more comfortable, and they'll be able to approach you on certain things that they may hesitate to. We gave them the whole spiel. The vato was nervous about it. Hey, homie, I ain't never been on a 180, this and that. And we're like, it's the same game, though. Same rules apply. So he hesitantly said yes. So we tell him, tomorrow morning, there's going to be a pegada. So make sure you don't come out here strapped, eh? Your vote wasn't needed on this because it's already been decided, but tomorrow morning, that yard, there's going to be a pegada. Somebody's going to get whacked. All right. The next day, we come out for yard. And he's right there with me. And he's like, hey, Holmes, is that going down today? I said, yeah, we told you. Whenever the shooters feel like it's the right time, they're already strapped up and following them around. So we show them, we tell them, like, that's the target. Those are the shooters. And they're following them around looking for their spot. And he says, damn, homie. And I brought a strap out. Why you bring a knife out? We already told you. So when he said that, the other meseros walked away like, fuck, man, what the fuck? So I tell him, come on, we're going to get rid of it. I'm going to go with you. So we walk off, and he's trying to flush the piece rather than throw it or bury it. Well, I'm telling him to bury it. He tries to flush it in the toilet, and he's like, hey, homie, it's stuck. I said, get out of the damn bathroom. These vatos might get him right now. Just get out of the bathroom. He comes out of the bathroom. As soon as he steps out of the bathroom, it goes down. This dude is getting hit on another part of the yard. The cops are screaming, down on the yard, get down, get down. We get down on almost on the track, little walkway towards the latrine area. And sure enough, one of the squad, after everything's over, one of the squad's walking by. And he looks over at me, and he does one of these. Say I'm over here, right? He's walking, he goes. He does a double take. Why does he do a double take when he sees that I'm sitting next to this dude? He saw it. I don't say nothing because my spider senses are up now. Something's not right. This dude goes on to tell me that he had been in Mule Creek. Now, Mule Creek is a spot, if you happen to somehow land there, you better get off. This was back before it was the way it is now, right? He says at a time, I said, when were you there? And he tells me. I said, how long were you there? And he hesitates. So I know. Got him. He got to go. Now he's trying to talk a lot. And I'm acting like everything's cool. After hits, they usually clear out all the races on the yard that weren't involved. And then the faction that was involved, they'll call you by blocks. So they'll all Southern Hispanics housed in one building. Take it back. So they'll get up, shake hands with the homies that are around them, take it back. 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, because that's all there was for the Southerners on C Yard at the time. The Northerners were in 6, 7, 8. Southerners were in 1, 2, 3. He gets up to go, shakes my hand, and the old bloquero from 1 block, the two of them walk together back to 1 block. This dude that's on the mesa tells him, hey, man, I think I fucked up. The old bloquero's like, what happened? He says, man, I told him that I was in Mule Creek. The old bloquero tells him that was the worst one to tell that to, because he's going to look into everything on you. I know this because the old bloquero tells me about the conversation. When they go back in the building, the first chance at running showers, the guy that got a seat on the mesa, the one that said he was in Mule Creek, goes to the showers, cuts like this part of his hand up here, not his veins, and lays down in the shower. He yells, man down. He locked it up, PC'd up. The old bloquero, he tells me what happened. I said, so this vato, he locked it up because you told him that I was going to look into a story, huh? Guess what happened? He goes back to the building. He knows it's more than likely a wrap for you, big dog. You let somebody get away, that's your ass. What does he do? He PCs up. That's just a day in prison. That's the reality of life behind those walls. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.